everybody, today we're going to be making pizza. The first thing you're going to do is set the oven to 400 degrees, and then you're going to take some yeast and 3/4 cup of warm water and combine those together. I used a yeast packet, but if you don't have a yeast packet, you can do 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. After you're done with that, you're going to stir it together. Then you're going to add 2 cups of flour. You can use all-purpose flour, but I used bread flour. I've noticed that it just tastes a little bit better, but both flours work great. After you're done adding the flour, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I used a 1/2 tablespoon measure here, so don't be confused when I add 2. After you're done adding the olive oil, you're going to want to add 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. And then you're going to turn around and add some salt, 1 teaspoon of the salt, and then just stir it all together. This took a long time, and it was basically just sludge, so I sped it up a little bit. I got to the point where stirring it just wasn't really doing anything anymore, and usually I use my stand mixer, so I decided to just go in with my hands. Don't worry, I washed them, and I just mixed it with my hands until it was completely mixed together. I added a little bit of flour because I noticed that it was super sticky, and I wanted to get it into that ball shape to transfer it over to the other bowl, but it was just a little bit. After I finished this, I got the other bowl prepped for transferring the dough over to rise. What I did is I just poured about a tablespoon of olive oil into the bowl and then put the olive oil up on the sides to make it so the dough could rise and easily slip out when I was ready to finish. After this, I then transferred the dough over to the correct bowl. You can see that it's kind of in a ball shape. I tried my best. After that, I covered it with a rag and I set it aside for later. During this time, I started to prep the vegetables. Me and my husband like bell peppers on top of our pizza. We like bell peppers, olives, and pepperoni. So that's what we've been having on top of our pizza recently. We have this really nice thing called a slap chop, which is what I'm using there. After I finished this and the timer was up on rising, I spread flour, the same bread flour, over the counter. I did this to prepare the surface for the dough so I can just put it straight on there and start to knead it. You can see here that I put the dough on there and I start to knead it directly on the counter. It was really sticky, so I continued to add a little bit of flour to the counter and on top of this as I kneaded it. This also took a little bit of time, so I'm going to speed it up just so you can see the whole process. I kneaded it for about 5 minutes, and after I kneaded it, I started to roll it out into a circle shape at first, and then I gave up. I've never actually made this pizza and have it be a perfect circle shape or even close to a circle shape, so I just rolled it out enough for it to fit well on my pizza pan. My pizza pan is a circle pan that has holes on the bottom. I've noticed that the pizza cooks better with holes on the bottom, but you can use just a normal pan for this. After I fit it on the pan, I then spread about a tablespoon of olive oil across the whole pizza. Make sure when you're doing this, you especially get the crust, which are the corners, and I just made sure it was very even among the whole thing. I also forgot to add in any herbs and spices to when I was making the pizza dough, so I decided to just add them now. I like to add Italian seasoning and garlic powder. I just went ahead and sprinkled that all around, and if you're going to add this beforehand, you can just add it directly into the mixture as you're mixing. After I added this, I went ahead and added on the pizza sauce. You can make this pizza sauce homemade. It's pretty simple to do, but this time I was in a rush, so I decided to just buy some. I really like pizza sauce, so I definitely put on a generous amount, and then you're going to spread this the same way that you spread the oil, just very evenly across the pizza, and you can add less or more depending on how much you like pizza sauce. After this, I went ahead and added cheese. I added mozzarella cheese and then just a Mexican blend of cheese. I know that some people like to have Parmesan cheese on their pizza. I personally am not the biggest fan, but you can try a bunch of different combinations. Mozzarella cheese is definitely my favorite on here. The first couple times I made this pizza, I made the mistake of not adding enough cheese. So one thing I like to do is just make sure that it is completely covered, whether that's with mozzarella cheese or just this Mexican blend of cheese. I want to make sure that I have all edges of this pizza covered other than the crust. After this, I go ahead and add on the toppings. Here I'm adding on pepperoni, but you can really add on whatever kind you want. As a source of protein, I would suggest adding on some type of meat, whether that's sausage, ham, or pepperoni. You can really try lots of different options and see what you like best. We personally like pepperoni. As you can see, I'm eating a lot of them there. After I put on the pepperoni, I put on the olives and the bell peppers that I had chopped up earlier, and then it's pretty much complete. After this, you take it and put it into your oven that you have already preheated to 400 degrees, and you let it cook for about 15 minutes. This one cooked for 14 minutes, so just make sure you're checking it in between, and voila, you have a pizza. This pizza is super good, and it's good for you, and it has a good source of carbs and protein. Enjoy! Thank you for cooking with me.